Hey everybody, we are here today to talk about custom smart plans. So sorry for the confusion in schedule. We needed to make sure we had plenty of time to get ready for the regional awards. So I appreciate everyone's flexibility in settling for a recording for this. If anyone does have any questions, want to interject, ask anything, please feel free to send me an email at jasonspars@kw.com. Best email to reach me at. Be happy to answer any questions following this video. So today we're going to be talking about how to build custom smart plans. So we're going to do a deep dive into Smartplans app, specifically the build custom smart plans feature of it. And we're going to be talking about each feature that we can use to create and string together a 36 touch. So without further ado, let's dive right into Smart Plans. So we can find our Smart Plans applet on the left side of our command home screen. Fourth from the top, right here, Smart Plans. Alrighty, so this is all loaded up, and of course, as we begin, we're going to see a list of all these smart plans we've already either created or downloaded from the library. Now, we're not going to be talking too much about the library today because, again, we're talking about creating custom smart plans, but just know that if maybe you go through this and you're like, that seems like a lot of work, Jason, I don't really know what I want to put together, you can always check out this library. There are quite literally thousands of smart plans in here that have either been created by KWRI or created by other powerful agents in our company that they've published to this library and given to us to use. All right, so back to the My Smart Plans tab. So if we're talking creating custom smart plans, which we are, we're going to want to direct our attention to the top right corner of the screen where we see this little blue button that says Create. Go ahead and click on that. And first thing we need to do is name this smart plan. So I'm going to call this smart plan Tuesday Workshop. But of course, you would title it, like open house follow-up, 36 touch, midterm nurture, Facebook post follow-up, something like that, something specific to what this smart plan is going to do, because the first thing that we need to decide before we begin to create a custom smart plan is obviously what do we want this smart plan to do. All right, so of course, there's really two main functions of that, right? We either want to convert a lead into a contact or nurture a contact during the duration of their lifespan. So every single time they think about buying a house with us, they know who to call, right? We're right there because we're staying in touch. This isn't a short-term game we're playing here. I mean, we know the average home buyer purchases a home 3 to 5 times in their lifetime. Right, so that's a lot of transactions we're leaving off the table if we're just doing one transaction and never reaching out to them again. Because if we're not staying in emotional proximity with the people in our database, I can guarantee you, no matter how well that first transaction went, if you're not staying in touch with them, if you're not staying front of mind, they're going to get ready to buy a newer house. They're going to go to an open house and run into a charming agent who's fantastic at scripts, and that's going to become their client, and you're going to lose a person. So when we're building these smart plans, it's really important, one, to know what our goal is for this, and then two, to make sure that we're providing valuable touches. So while we're going through this, I'm going to be sort of mentioning a couple other valuable touches that we can provide through these smart plans to make sure that we are communicating as effectively as possible. So for this one, we're just going to call it Tuesday Workshop, but of course, have an idea before we start just throwing, tasks and touches into play here. So we're going to apply. And then this is going to take us to our Smart Plan Builder, where we can see on the left side here, I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. We have what this smart plan is going to look like. On the right side, we have all of the actions. So we're going to go through every single one of these in the next several minutes. First one being create a task. Second one is going to be, let's make a call. Pretty important. Send an email, send a text message, set a delay, add to a different smart plan. That's a very important one. And finally, restart the smart plan. So let's dive right in, and we're just going to go right down the line here. So I'm not really going to be making a cohesive smart plan right now, but what we are going to be doing is just going over each one of these, talking about the functionality, how they interact with us, and how they interact with the client, and then you can put together your ideal smart plan for whatever task you're looking to accomplish. All right, so first one, we're going to say create a task. Now, a big feature that is amazing about our smart plans is our ability to automate. Now, I hear a lot of, not necessarily pushback, but just concern saying, I don't really want to make my communications all robotic. I don't want people to know they're being automated. And we agree. And by we, I mean me and all the developers at Keller Williams International who are putting all this together, because that is never the goal, right? As a company, our standard is to keep the agent in the transaction, and it's the exact same with our communication. See, we're not automating steps to make things less personable, to take you away from it, but we want to take some of these more redundant, easy to replicate tasks like emails and smart plans off of your plate so you can focus on providing your fiduciary duty at the highest level. The goal of KWRI when they're building these smart plans is to help us be more human with more people more often, and automation is a great way to do that. Backtracking. We can't automate tasks, right? There are going to be a couple tasks in here that we just cannot automate. So creating a task is one of them, right? So this is if our smart plan needs to have something like send a handwritten thank you card, right? That's a big one. Let's say maybe this smart plan is one that we start every time we have a buyer consultation with somebody, and we want to make sure the first thing we do after that's done is put a handwritten thank you card in the mail so they get it in a couple days. So one thing to note about these creating tasks, and I'm going to move this back over here. One, we can have this due in a number of days, right? 1 day, 2 days, 3, all the way to like 14. So if that was the case, it's going to pop up on your timeline. That's where this is going to show up. This is going to show up right on your daily to-do list task widget on your homepage saying, ding, 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 Jason, you need to accomplish this task today. Now, if I have it as today, it's going to say this is due today, right when this comes up. But I can push this back a little bit and say, I want to be notified of this because this card needs to go in the mail in 2 days. Well, I know I'm pretty busy and I might need a couple days to write it. So I want this on my radar today, but it needs to be sent in the mail in 2 days. So if we're going to go with that example, I'm going to say send a thank you card, and then I'm going to auto embed contact first name and contact last name. So when that pops up, I can just see the person who I need to send this to, and even one step further, I can go ahead and click on their name in that task, and it'll take me right to their contact card. So I have their address, all their information, and notes from our meeting, because I saved all that to my database. And I know if their daughter is going off to KU, I can say, hey, just this will be super fun. Have a good drive out there, and I wish Sandy best of luck out in college over at KU, because we listen, right? All right, and then we can add a little task description in here. So in this one, I would just say, send handwritten thank you card to first name, and then I would probably say post buyer consult. All right, because I kind of know what I want these to say. I write these all the time, so I know if this is my post buyer consult one, I will tailor it to that. And you might even have a template of cards already built up. Now you can also take it a step further and just copy, that text, paste it right in this description, so you can just scribe it right onto your little postcard and put it right in the mail when you're done. Now, one thing I want to note about tasks, and this is a really underrated feature here. Not every single task needs to be a touch task. I mean, people think of smart plans, and of course, they're designed to be a really great way to stay in touch with our database. But we can also use these smart plans to streamline internal functions, right? Stuff that we need to do. So for example, let's say I'm putting together a smart plan, right? And I'm gonna skip ahead here for a little bit, but I really like showing people how to use tasks as not a touch function. So let's say I am doing this. This is my post follow-up one. We're going to create a task. So first task is to send that handwritten card. Secondly, I want to put this person on neighborhood nurture right away. So what I would do in that is I would create another task. Maybe we'll do like a 1 day delay, right? Because we want this to kind of come at the same time. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to have my delay button. And this is going to set a delay. So we can have as little as 1 day all the way up to 369 days. So that means we can have smart plans over a year long, which if we're looking for 36 touches in a year, not too scabby. All right, so for this one, we're going to do 1 day. If we want to change it, we can type in the letter the number of days we want, or we can toggle it with these arrows. But we're just going to stick with one for now. Then I'm going to do another task. But down here, I'm going to toggle from a touch to a non-touch. Now, note. Go and look at the top of the screen here. We can see sort of a running tally of what our smart plan has right now. So far it's a duration of 2 days, 1, 2, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and 2 touches. So that means twice that client is getting a piece of communication. But remember, The second one is not going to be a touch. This is going to be for us to help our internal functions, whatever, to help us just stay on track with what we need to do. So for example, I'm going to just go ahead and toggle over here to say not touch. This moved down to 1. Now this isn't a task that goes to the client, but what I want to do is make sure that I have add their address. So I'm going to say add first name, last names, address to contacts. So I go in, I get that ping, and I say, oop, thanks for the reminder. I always forget to add people's addresses to their database. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now. So when this is done, I'll set another day delay. Very next day, I can add them to a smart plan. Then I can select from all these lists of smart plans that I've either created or downloaded from the library, that exact same list that we see on the home screen of our Smart Plans applet. And I'm going to go ahead and find my neighborhood nurture. I'm going to type in neighborhood because I got like a bajillion smart plans in here. And here we are. I'll do my monthly neighborhood nurture. Great. So far, if we're tracking this smart plan, and it's going to be kind of a silly smart plan, well, that's all right. We had our consultation. We create a task. We see this task, and in 2 days, we're going to want to have a handwritten card in the mail. So, see that, we write that card. A day delay, we get another task, and it says, hey, Jason, this one's due today, but you need to add their address because tomorrow they're getting put on a neighborhood nurture. I add their address, another day delay, and then now they're put on the neighborhood nurture. So while the rest of the smart plan is running, simultaneously a second smart plan is running because we can have people on as many smart plans as we need, and now they're getting a monthly neighborhood nurture every single month, right? So if we're talking about a full year, right now we have 12, 13 touches because we have 1 touch from that card, and then we're getting 12 emails every single year, once a month. Cool. Moving forward, let's get into this next task. So we're going to do another delay here. I like putting delays between each one. Let's stretch it out, right? Now we're going to jump down and make a call. So very similar to the create a task function. This one we cannot automate. Big difference here is we can to make this a non-touch. Obviously, if we're making a call, it's going to be a touch. So for this one, I usually will just say call. And then again, that embedded function, first name, last name, throw a little line in there, and then I'm also going to drop in their phone number because, again, I want this to be as easy as possible. So when I'm on my home screen, I see my daily to-do list in my tasks widget. I can see right here their name, their phone number. I can dial it, click on the name, pulls up their contact card, or I could stay in that task because you can also drop your scripts right here in the task description. So let's say this one is just going to be a check-in. Okay, let's stick with this sort of train of thought we're running on, where this is like a post-consultation smart plan. So I'm going to say like, hey, first name, because, we're super casual. Just checking in like I promised. I wanted to see if you had, any follow-up questions based on our conversation, whatever, you get the picture. Put your script right in here, so that way we don't have to toggle between all these different scripts, fumbling papers when we're making our calls. Obviously, we want to commit these to memory, but it's always nice to have them in front of our face, so as we're going through making these calls, we can just see them right here. And if we're looking at our tracker, 2 touches in the smart plan, plus those 12 from the neighborhood nurture gives us 14 touches. The goal is 36. We're doing pretty good so far. All right, let's move down. Now here's where things start to get fun because here's where some of that automation finally comes into play. So this one's going to be sending an automated email. So one, I'll reply to email right here. If you're looking at this and you're saying, whoa, push on the brakes, that is not the email that I communicate with. Maybe it's your KW email, but you've purchased a different domain and you don't use your KW email, or maybe it's just the wrong email address. You can click this little link right here and that's going to guide you to where you need to go to change that. It's the command email section of our settings page. You can click in there, you can choose your email from a list. You know what, I'll show you. Go right in here. This is going to take us to our settings page, where we will scroll down until we find command email. We can click manage. And then here we can see our list of emails, and if you don't see it on there, you can add a custom email. All right. Okay, so emails are getting fun, right? So we got 2 options with emails, a simple and design. So with simple, it is what it is, right? It's a simple email. So I'm going to say follow, or whatever, like checking in. I don't know. Don't title your emails checking in. It's kind of lame, but I'm not feeling very creative today. All right, so here it's a simple email, right? We just type in text, just like a normal email, where we can say, hey, again, love these embedded functions. See, this is what lets us automate, but still keep things personal, right? We can drop in, we can have 1,000 people on this smart plan, and every time this step comes up to someone, it's going to put in their first name, their last name, all of this information, right? Birthdays, phone numbers, there's all sorts of stuff that we can embed here. So I'm going to say, hey, so-and-so, whoopsies. This is the body of the email. Right? Whatever we want this to say. Now, one thing to note on here, because we are sending these automatically through command, your email signature that you have set up in your Gmail or your Outlook or whatever will not be applied to these. So one thing that you're always going to want to do is put in sort of a custom email signature at the bottom of these. I recommend having a little note, section in your computer. Have that saved somewhere so you can quickly just copy and paste it wherever you need to. But it would look something like this. Spars. There we go. 612, 615. 39. And why not throw our app code in there, right? So we always just drop in a link. Oh, I want to make it easy to find my app, so they can also download my app right there. All right, so that's an example of a simple email. Just like in the name, it's simple. Now, I don't use a lot of these because we have such cooler options in here. If I'm sending out automated emails, typically I'm sending them out through designs. So I've toggled from simple to design, and this is where we can get fun and have some HTML embedded emails. So I'm going to go ahead and click Select Design. Now, first place this is going to take me to are the list of 139 emails that I've custom created using the email builder in Designs, which I know we've touched on before in these classes, and I promise you we will touch on it again. Now, let's say I haven't made an email, or I don't want to make an email, or I don't even know where to start with making that email. I have good news for you. We already have a ton. So we can toggle from my design template over to KWRI templates. And this is going to show us about 72 emails that we have ready to customize or use right out of the box, right? So we have different newsletters, all sorts of what I call out-of-the-box emails, property-specific ones where we can go in and put our property information. It's going to pull a bunch of information from the MLS and help us market properties. So for this one, I know something that's near and dear to my heart at the moment. Tax day, right? That's coming up. April's right around the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and use the tax day email. So I click on it. It's going to show me what this email is going to look like. Okay. So right here, I can read through it, and I say, this is great, super helpful. And remember, we're tying this into content, right? This is valuable stuff. It's a nice little reminder, and it's not necessarily about real estate, because if we only reach out about real estate, people are going to start to get the impression that you only reach out when you want something from them. So what's better than a little reminder, hey, taxes are around the corner, hate to be that guy, but I don't want to see you in jail. So, if you want to put that in, maybe you change it. Let's have a little bit of fun. So you can go here, you can edit that, and then you can change all this text however you would like. You can change the image however you would like to. Or if you're not picky like me, and you're like, I trust the designers at KWRI, we're going to roll with it. One thing to note, all of these items here are going to be automatically pulled from your marketing profile. So if you click Preview, and you see this logo isn't in here, or this is incorrect, or this information is not showing up, that means you need to update your marketing profile. So go ahead and use answers.kw.com to locate that if you do not know where it is, or you can ask your Market Center's tech trainer. Okay, so we're good. I like this one. I'm going to roll with it. Click Done there. We're done editing. I don't need to add any other features to it, so I'm going to click Save. Then X, and then Save again. Redundancies. We're working through them, but hey, small price to pay for a super simple and effective email. So now, when we get to this step here, This will not show up to me as a task. This is going to send automatically, and it's automatically going to track in every contact's timeline that received it. Now, one thing I want to note, whoops, I forgot to add a delay. Now, do I need to? No. Let's say for the smart plan I want to, and this brings up another sort of function of this. How can we change this stuff around after the fact? Because if we're dropping this in, everything goes right at the bottom. So let's say I want that delay to actually be in between these two tasks. All I need to do is push this little move up arrow, and that delay has now moved between those two functions. Okay, next we're going to do send a text message. So we're going to add another delay, send a text message. Now, if you have Twilio set up in your settings page and you pay for Twilio, these are going to send automatically. If you do not have Twilio set up, these will show up to you as a task, just like a phone call, right? It's going to say, hey, Jason, you need to text this person this message today. Now, pretty simple stuff here. We can say, hey, again, love these embedded functions. Whoopsies, got a little crazy with the scroll. What up? Right, we're having fun. All right, now one thing I want to note about these texts, and this is a really cool feature because we'll talk about this in a minute, but we have the ability to restart these smart plans. So let's say, for an example, it's a small smart plan that has like a phone call, a text message, a phone call, a text message, a phone call, a text message. And instead of having a really long smart plan, adding all these phone calls and text messages in, maybe we want to just have a phone call, a text message, and restart it over and over and over again. But we're using automated text messages, and we don't want to send the exact same text message every 2 weeks. That's going to get super redundant, and they're going to say, this is automated, this guy doesn't really care. So what we can do, and it doesn't mean we don't care, it just means that we care so much we want to make sure we're providing a strong fiduciary duties for our other clients. But neither here nor there. What we can do is switch this from a static text, where it just sends this one and moves on, to a dynamic text. And we can add as many of these text options as we want. So now we can say, hey there, howdy, so on and so forth. So the first time the smart plan goes through, it sends out text 1. It'll go through the rest of the things we put on, the rest of these actions here. Then the next time it comes to this text, it's going to send number 2. Cycle through again, send number 3, so on and so forth. We can have up to 6 text messages. I think I said unlimited. That was wrong. Up to 6. Okay, and remember, if we do have Twilio, all of this will be automated as well. Finally, we have our last delay, and then like I said before, we don't even throw a delay there. We can remove that. Add smart plan, we already talked about those, and then we can restart these smart plans. So we can restart it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to, they used to have it unlimited. Oh, there we go, unlimited on the top, unlimited times, right? So with this one, we don't want that text to go out. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter after 3 months, they probably won't remember. But yeah, so this is how we sort of recycle those smart plans, and then where these dynamic texts would really come into play. Now, I did promise we would touch on some valuable content we can add into these. So there are a few locations I want to take us to show you some pretty cool stuff that we can market to our people that are going to add a ton of value. So one, Keller Mortgage, right? Interest rates are going up. Houses are going to get more expensive to buy. And a lot of buyers are paying closing costs right now. Let's not kid ourselves, pretty much all of them. So maybe you have someone who is a little strapped for cash, especially in this market, and really can't afford to pay closing costs. Keller Mortgage is a perfect tool to set our peoples up with that's not going to charge any lender fees, loan origination fees, plus it's going to give you $1,000 back at closing, basically wiping out closing costs for your clients. I've personally used them. It's great. So one thing we can do, I'm going to go to kwconnect.com. And this is a really great piece of content that not a lot of people know how to access. So to note this down, I'm going to scroll down a little ways on KW Connect, all these really awesome live trainings, and I'm going to look for clients are looking for ways to save money today, and you have the tools. Help your clients now. So this is going to have a lot of great information about Keller Mortgage and how we get it to people. And what we want to find right here is create your personalized marketing page. Now, all you have to do is type in your name. You can also type in mine if you want. I'll take the referrals, but I'm just kidding. Stick with yours. So Jason Spars, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's me. We're going to go ahead and click search. And then this is automatically pulled this copy for me, right? So I'm going to jump over here. Where does this go? What did this make? So if anyone clicks that link, it's going to take them to a personally branded page that lets them apply for mortgage or shop for home insurance right here on the spot. So buying a home or insuring your home has never been easier. Now again, this is home insurance. Great stuff. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, if they want to apply for this loan, they just click right here. It takes them to a very easy to navigate pre-qualification that's going to connect them with your preferred lender through Keller Mortgage and keep you informed every step of the way, because you're going to be getting notifications and updates in your database. So we can take this code, jump back over to our smart plans, and we can drop it anywhere in these text messages and a static email, or we can create a button in one of our custom emails to have it in an HTML embedded email. A really great, powerful touch that you can give people to help them save literally thousands of dollars. It's a great tool. Now, another really good tool that we have here are Keller Offers. I'm just going to go to kelleroffers.com. And this is another link that you can take people to, right? So what this is, we have 3 offers here. First one is cash offer program. Sorry, not available in Minnesota. We'll skip that. But we have the ready to stay and ready to sell program. Now, if you haven't heard about those, I want to take the rest of our couple minutes here to dive into this. So what the ready to sell program is a program. So I'm going to just kind of walk through a scenario here. So let's say I'm at a listing appointment and I'm doing great because I love listing appointments, and we're going through and I'm going through the house and doing my thing, and I'm telling them, okay, so I think we could probably get in this current market about $250,000. Now, real life example, I typically don't lock in a price in my listing appointments because I like to get the photos first. We're going to get a range, right? So I'm going to say, I'm thinking we have a range anywhere between 240 and 280. But if you remove this old carpet and refinish these hardwood floors, and if you remodel both these bathrooms and knock down this gaudy mauve tile, actually that sounds pretty cool, but gross brown tile, we'll stick with brown. And if we did a little kitchen facelift on here and got, refaced your cabinets and put a new countertop in here, and gosh, maybe even pulled out this wall, I bet we could get about $350 for your house. Well, clients might be saying, well, great, I'd gladly take $350 for my house, but I don't have enough money. Well, we can set them up with the Ready to Sell program. So what this Ready to Sell program does is we can submit the application to the program from this page. They will then be connected with a local, pre-approved, pre-certified contractor who's going to come out, give them a bid. So to do all this work, it's going to cost $40,000. It's probably a little on the high end, but $40,000. $250 to $350, $40,000. They say, great. They do the work, sell the house. At closing, that contractor is paid in full, and your client just netted an extra $60,000-ish. Now, there is nothing due up front, no payments. This does not cost your client a penny until they hit the closing table. A fantastic tool to help sellers. Now, in this market, everything's selling, sure, but it is a great way to reach out to people to say, hey, have you ever thought about doing any home remodels? Well, I can finance these for 0% down, 0 payments due, and then when we sell your house, you can take all the, all the profits from it. Now, what if someone doesn't want to sell their house, but they still want to take advantage of this program? Well, we also have the Ready to Stay program right here. Now, the Ready to Sell is a great one to reach out to people you think maybe want to sell their home, get in the door, do a listing appointment. The Ready to Stay program is a great way to stay in touch with those people in your database who maybe you recently sold a house to, or aren't ready to sell a house. But I don't know about you, but I have a ton of clients in my world who I help who buy a house saying, down the road, we're going to do this to the kitchen, we're going to change these floors, we're going to do this, this, and that. And I know, just because I'm guilty of this as well, best laid plans, right? Sometimes, things just get kicked down the road a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 years before we can remodel that kitchen. And maybe it's because we don't have time to get to it, or maybe it's because we don't really feel like putting something on our credit card and paying 25% interest on it. So what the Ready to Stay program does, same thing as Ready to Sell, except you're not required to sell the home. So we have different, and let me find this really quickly. Oh, I should sign in. That'll help. whatever. That's getting too messy. Ready to... What was I looking for? No, I just want resources. There we go. Whatever, we're running out of time. So what the Ready to Stay program does for us, same thing. We can get set up with a pre-certified, pre-approved local contractor, come out, do the bid. They say okay, and we have a lot of different financing options that we can set our clients up to through this program. So what those look like, I want to find them here. I know I have one. I just don't want to go through this whole thing, and I haven't been in here in a minute, so I do apologize for that. But whatever. So there is a 1 year. We just want to have the visual. There's a 12-month loan option that is 0 down payment on it, 0 interest, and 0 payments due for the first 12 months. Perfect for someone who wants to do like a little $3,000 quick kitchen refresh or like add a closet or something, right? Because I can manage, to pay off $3,000 in 12 months, and it's just as good as cash, right? That's awesome. That's going to help so many people in your database make these home improvements they don't want to do. Now, say they want to have a little bigger project. We can do anything from 1 year to, I believe, 15 years is the longest. And the highest interest rate they're ever going to see on that 15-year loan is 9.9%, which is about half of what they would have if they put it on their credit card. So another really great option to put in front of your buyers, right? Be a solution. Be a resource for them. If they're sitting there hating their kitchen and want to redo it, but don't want to put it on their credit cards or don't have the room, let them know. You can borrow up to $75,000 from my company with 0 payments due, 0% interest for the first year. And even if it takes 15 years to pay it off, you're not going to pay any more than 10%. A great value add that you can add to these smart plans. And I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of these really, really powerful tools that KW has set us up with. All right, so like I said, if you have any questions about what we went over today, feel free to reach out to either me via email or check in with one of your Market Center tech trainers, and they can go through all this great stuff with you. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.